Once in a while I'm trying something new, and this is something I don't make often. It is actually ramen. Now, I don't make often ramen because I'm not that familiar with it, but this is what I did, and I hope you will enjoy it because it can save you quite a bit of time, and the flavor of this is extremely good. But why am I still talking? Let's start cooking. So I start a little bit different than usually people do. To keep the price a little bit lower, I will be using dried shiitake mushroom as a base of the broth, and I will then add on extra flavors, and it creates such a deep, rich flavor on its own that you don't need many other extra things for flavoring. And so you start off with that. You put the dried shiitake mushrooms in some water so that all the flavor gets in there. Then you boil it up or bring it to a boil for some extra flavor. Add some lemongrass, ginger, and some bonito flakes. A handful of everything is more than enough. It increases the flavor so much. Bring it to a boil and let it sit out, cool down. That's enough for that part, for the broth. Now this is the part where it gets interesting, at least from my perspective. This can be a method that can increase or reduce actually a lot of the working time that you have. However, it still takes some time, but meanwhile it creates also a lot more flavor for you in the end. So it's like an odd mix between both things, that it doesn't really make it faster but more flavorful, but it is faster because you don't have a lot of active cooking time. And let me explain what I mean. I am putting up a pot with boiling water, and I put my pieces of chicken in there just for a few minutes so that the chicken already gets cooked, at least for around 75%. And then I just let it, take it out of the water, and I will reuse that water as more of a chicken stock idea by reducing that and adding more things. So like I added kaffir lime, which is lime leaves, ginger, and some celery, lemongrass, and I reduced that water just so extremely far that it has all the flavor in it, and I will reuse that later. Okay, so the lemongrass shiitake broth is cooled down at this point, or I actually strain it so that all the mushrooms and all the seasonings and spices are out, and I can use it as a clear broth, and I will warm it up or keep it on a low heat so that it gets warm but not boiling, so that I can scoop it in right away when I serve it. Because basically it's almost done already. I can now start frying the chicken, and I fry it and fry it. And while I'm frying it and it's almost completely cooked, I just add the broth where I boiled them first in, the reduced flavor with the lemongrass and the kaffir limes and the lime leaves. I add that in there so that all the flavor goes back in there. You have a nice fresh taste of lime and lemongrass going on. I add a little bit of hoisin, or you can add a little bit of soy. Just a teaspoon is enough to intensify that flavor as well. Basically, then you're done. You can mix everything together. So what I did was boil my ramen. I added the chicken, which had a nice color, fresh flavor. I added the broth, that everything was covered in all the chicken and noodles were covered in it. And I added some sliced spring onion, and that was it. And it's maybe not a lot, but it was so fresh. It was amazing. It was super delicious, rich, and I would say I hope you give it a try. Try it yourself. It's a cheap way, it's a fast way, and it's super high quality. There have been many places where I ate where it tasted almost as good. They just put in more time in the restaurant. So I was so close to having a real restaurant quality, what I normally would be able to serve to somebody if I actually spent time to it, which I did now was only a 2-hour time frame. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and see you next time. Have a nice day.